Welcome to Royal Secret. In a windswept archipelago nestled in the wild North Atlantic Ocean, something magical happened, not just for the Faroe Islands, but for the entire Kingdom of Denmark. A moment so intimate, so unexpected, and so deeply human, it melted even the most stoic royal watchers. King Frederik X, a man trained from birth to conceal emotion, groomed to embody the steel of Danish tradition, stood before a sea of waving flags and proud islanders, and did something no Danish monarch has done quite like this before. He declared love, not just in passing, not with a glance, but with words that shook royal protocol, and with a kiss that left a nation breathless. Today, we take you deep into the royal heart of Denmark's most stirring public moment in years, the day King Frederik X, newly crowned and with the world watching, declared his adoration for Queen Mary in the Faroe Islands. He didn't whisper it in private. He didn't hide behind closed doors in Amalienborg Palace. He told it to the people, loudly, proudly, passionately, and the world hasn't stopped talking since. Was this a new kind of monarchy? A new kind of king? Or simply a man, deeply in love, giving Denmark something more powerful than pomp and tradition, authenticity? It was about legacy, leadership, loyalty, and a love story that has already become legend. The Faroe Islands are not your typical stage for royal grandeur. Located between Norway and Iceland, this self-governing archipelago under the Danish crown is known for its towering sea cliffs, turbulent weather, and fiercely independent culture. Yet, for all its remote majesty, it has long been a key stop in royal tours, a symbol of Denmark's unity across geography and tradition. When King Frederik and Queen Mary arrived for their much-anticipated visit in early June, locals lined the harbors. Schoolchildren practiced their songs, sheep were herded from the roads, Faroese flags danced in the wind. This wasn't just a state visit. It was a homecoming of sorts, the monarch reconnecting with his people in one of the kingdom's most poetic corners. But no one expected what would happen next. Standing before the crowd in Tórshavn, with Queen Mary by his side in her signature navy coat and graceful hat, King Frederik took the microphone. Smiling, calm, but with a twinkle in his eye. Then, with cameras rolling and cheers echoing, he paused, looked at his wife, and said, "Queen Mary is not just my wife. She is the heartbeat of our family, and the heartbeat of this monarchy. Denmark pulses with her warmth." The crowd gasped. It was personal, it was poetic, and it was historic. Never before had a Danish monarch, especially so early in his reign, broken from script with such emotional transparency. And certainly never before had he done so while embracing the Queen, holding her hand firmly, then drawing her close for a kiss so gentle, yet so public, it would make front pages across Europe within hours. Royal watchers were stunned, but the people, oh, the people, they cheered like never before. This moment didn't come out of nowhere. To truly appreciate its significance, we must rewind the clock, back to the man King Frederik once was. Born Crown Prince Frederik Andre Henrik Christian in 1968, he spent his youth under the shadow of royal duty. His mother, Queen Margrethe II, ruled with dignity and restraint, and his father, Prince Henrik, famously struggled with the constraints of being royal consort. Frederik was always seen as the reluctant prince. He often appeared uncomfortable with public speaking, formal settings, and strict royal protocol. His deep internal life was obvious to anyone who saw him. But everything changed when he met Mary Donaldson, the Australian advertising executive who captured his heart during the 2000 Sydney Olympics. And everything changed again when he became king in January 2024. In his first months as monarch, Frederik has balanced tradition and modernity with precision. But this moment, this bold, romantic display in the Faroe Islands, showed us something new. Not just a king, a man in love, leading with the heart. So who is the woman behind this transformation? Queen Mary, born Mary Elizabeth Donaldson, has always been admired for her elegance, intelligence, and quiet strength. But in recent years, and especially since her husband's accession to the throne, she has become something more, a unifying symbol. A diplomat in Dior, a queen who listens. But beyond the public persona, Mary has been the emotional anchor for her family. And in the Faroe Islands, we saw Frederik not just acknowledge that, but celebrate it. In front of thousands, with tears in his eyes, and with a kiss that silenced cynics. When King Frederik X kissed Queen Mary on the wind-swept shores of the Faroe Islands, he did more than stir royal watchers. He triggered a ripple effect across Denmark. Some called it bold, others called it beautiful, but everyone agreed, it was unforgettable. This wasn't just affection, this was a statement, and the kingdom responded with tears, headlines, hashtags, and more history in the making. As the images of King Frederik's open display of affection for Queen Mary flashed across Danish television, newspapers, and social media, reactions came in faster than a royal motorcade. From Copenhagen to Odense, from Aarhus to Aalborg, and deep into the hearts of the Faroe Islands and Greenland, people were captivated. TV2 Denmark aired the footage multiple times during the evening news, with one anchor emotionally describing it as a rare glimpse into the heart of a modern monarchy. A moment when protocol gave way to passion. On social media, the hashtag heartbeat of Denmark began trending within hours. Royal fans posted side-by-side images of King Frederik's kiss and vintage photos of royal couples who never dared show such warmth in public. Even Denmark's more traditionally conservative news outlets gave respectful praise. Berlingske, one of the country's oldest newspapers, ran the headline, "A Kiss for the Kingdom. King Frederik embraces love as leadership." Consensus was clear. This wasn't scandal, it was sincerity, and it worked. Behind the scenes, the Danish royal court, known for its tight-lipped formality, was surprisingly relaxed about the attention. In fact, sources close to the palace leaked that the king's gesture had not been rehearsed, staged, or cleared by advisors. It came from his heart, one insider told Extra Bladet. And sometimes, that's what the country needs more than anything. Government ministers, normally cautious in commenting on royal matters, couldn't help but weigh in. Minister for Culture Jakob Engel-Schmidt tweeted, "In a world where too many leaders are afraid to show vulnerability, our king showed us strength in love. Long live the Queen, long live the King." And in a rare joint statement, the Faroese Prime Minister and Speaker of the Faroese Parliament said, "The King and Queen brought more than royal presence. They brought unity, humility, and the kind of love that inspires generations." As photos and videos circulated globally, body language analysts were quick to dissect the exchange between King Frederik and Queen Mary. Dr. Annika Sorensen, a Danish behavioral psychologist, told TV2, "Watch Queen Mary's response. She doesn't flinch, she doesn't look surprised, she places her hand on his arm in return. That is the body language of deep mutual trust." Other observers noted the way King Frederik gently leaned toward Mary before the kiss, asking for no permission, yet seeking no applause. It was natural, and that's what made it electric. "In 10 seconds, said British royal analyst Richard Eden, Frederik did what some royals struggle to do in a decade. He connected with the public, not as king, but as husband." In the age of Instagram and TikTok, royal couples are often seen but rarely felt. That changed with Frederik and Mary's moment in the Faroe Islands. On TikTok, clips of the kiss and the king's statement were remixed with romantic music and emotional captions. Young Danes, many of whom don't typically follow the monarchy, shared comments like, "For the first time, I get it. They're not just royals, they're real. He's like a Disney prince who grew up and got better. This is what monarchy looks like when it evolves." For older Danes who remember a more reserved era of royal behavior, the moment was equally striking. Many recalled that even Queen Margrethe II, though much loved, never publicly displayed affection toward Prince Henrik in this way. Some royal historians speculated that King Frederik may be ushering in a new precedent, not just for transparency in government, but transparency in love. To understand the power of this moment, it must be placed in context. Public displays of affection by reigning monarchs are exceedingly rare, especially in Scandinavia. In fact, when King Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden kissed Queen Sylvia's hand during a national holiday in the 1990s, it made front-page news. But King Frederik's gesture, verbal and physical, poetic and public, was in another league entirely. It wasn't just a sign of affection. It was, in a way, a coronation of Mary as Queen of Hearts, not just Queen of Denmark. The words he used, "the heartbeat of this monarchy," have already been immortalized in headlines, greeting cards, and yes, even tattoos. At least one fan in Copenhagen posted photos of the quote inked on her arm just days after the event. What happened after the crowd dispersed? After the photos were taken, the hands were shaken, and the formal itinerary was complete. Sources inside the royal entourage say the mood on the royal yacht, Danbrog, was light, warm, and emotional. The king was glowing, said one aide. He wasn't worried about protocol. He was just proud. And the queen, she looked touched. Quietly touched. It's rumored that Crown Prince Christian, watching from Denmark, texted his father a simple message. "You made history, Dad. For real." Princess Isabella, known for her wit and candor, reportedly joked. "Now we'll never top that for your anniversary." Even Queen Margrethe, watching from Fredensborg Palace as she continues to recover from recent health issues, is said to have smiled warmly when seeing the footage. "It was very modern," she reportedly said, with a twinkle in her eye. Please don't forget to leave your comments on the comments section below. Avoid making insultive comments.